Thank you, Dean. That was beautiful. Awesome. Well, we get to spend 2 weeks in this passage in 1 Corinthians 13. So come back next week, and Jeff gets to take the negatives. I get to get the positives. So how about that? So I don't know how that worked out. He thought it'd be cool. So, all right. So, when I was thinking about love, I was thinking about how different generations they tackle this whole idea of love differently. And I'm a child of the 80s, and I'm a Gen Xer. Do we have any Gen Xers in the room? Come on, no, I'm the only one. Okay, well, that means I get to. You're like, I want to be a Gen Xer. Well, I don't know. Maybe your generation's more of the all you need is love crowd. I don't know. Maybe that's your thing. But I'm gonna just subject you to some of my cultural music for as how my culture defined love through music, just a little bit, just because I thought it was a funny way to do things, I guess. But I really think that music really helps define generations. And so if you look back and you can think about music in your generation, wherever that is, you can think about songs that deal with love, right? And I was trying to do that, and I just kind of got lost I tried to get back to the 70s, and I'm like, this is not making any sense to me. So I didn't even want to go to the 60s, and then, heaven forbid, I went to the 50s or the 40s, So I'm just going to stick with what I know and just go with 80s. And then everyone else will just have to be forgiving this morning to Dave, who's the only Gen Xer in the whole building this morning. It's okay. Okay, so let's move on. So anyway, there's a couple songs that I think might help us. Maybe it won't help us along in this journey through 1 Corinthians 13. But there's a song that came out it's actually 92 or something, and it's a band called Hadaway, and they came out with this song, and it was entitled, What is Love? And that's great. We asked questions. In the 80s, we asked questions about love. We didn't just define it and say, this is what it is. We asked questions about it. So they said, well, what is love? And I didn't think they did a very good job because defining it, because as I've listened to the song, what they told me was that love is the absence of kind of hurt, because they said, baby, don't hurt me no more. That's what love is, just not hurt. I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense to me, so I got to go a little further. So then there's this other band called Whitesnake, and I don't know, 80s band names, whatever. I didn't name them, but Whitesnake, okay, there we go, all right. So Whitesnake came out, and they came out with a different question. They asked the question, is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? They said, and so they talked about all these feelings associated with love, but in the end, they didn't really know if they really had love or if it wasn't love. They didn't really know at the end. I don't know. And then, of course, the main one, Tina Turner, comes out with this song. What's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? And, I think the fact that that song just got inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame this year shows that my generation finally gave up on defining love. They just, whatever. What's love got to do with it anyway? So they just gave up. Our culture is funny about the word love, isn't it? I mean, I can say, I love chocolate peanut butter ice cream. And I could turn around in the same sentence and say, I love my wife, Betsy. Or, I love my dog, and I love my son. I could say, I love the 49ers. I don't really love the 49ers, but I could say that. I love the 49ers. And then I could say, I love Jesus. All right? It's crazy. We love bacon and people and old Disney movies and experiences. We feel love, we make love, we fall in love, we fall out of love. Why do we have only one word for love in English? Why? It's crazy. Other languages have different words to talk about different love. In fact, in the New Testament, most of the New Testament was written in Greek, and the Greek has several different words that get translated into the English as love. But they're all different words, but we just get one word, love. So I think that it's really important as we look in 1 Corinthians and we talk about love, we all have to know, what kind of love are we talking about here? So the first one, it's in your bulletin there, and I just got to be honest with you, the first one isn't translated love in your Bible. I made it up. Okay, just so you know, I'm not trying this. Okay, but the first one, I really think, the reason why that I brought it up is because I think in our culture, we have this type of love that we say is love, but it's whatever, but it's really what we mean is this Greek word mania. Mania, and mania is like an obsession for something. If you think of The opposite of mania would be like phobia. Phobia, you don't want to be around something. Oh, I can't stand it. Well, mania is like, I can't stand to not be around this. Okay? So mania, we say, I love something. Like you might, if you ever go to an NFL football game, you'll find people that love football. Well, it's not really love football. They mania football. Okay, so watch I don't know, watch the Oakland Raider game on TV today, and you will find people that show this mania love for football. It's going to be crazy obsession type of love. People dressed up with horns and things. Okay, it just doesn't happen in normal life, but they will say, "I love football." Okay, and that's what they really mean. They mania it. They're kind of crazy about it. Okay, not in the Bible that way, but whatever. All right, good. Okay, so let's get into the real stuff. Another type of love is eros love, and eros is a Greek word, and we get the word erotic from eros, and it's more than just passion love. It's what it is. It's the feeling, emotional side to love. Okay, emotional side to love, and I think that most of the songs that came to your mind, especially all the '80s songs that they talk about love, all of those songs, what they're really talking about is eros love. This feeling love, is this love that I'm feeling? If you've ever lost that loving feeling, that's eros love, okay? Eros love is kind of like a wave. It kind of changes and grows and recedes, and it's not a constant love. It just kind of, most of my high schoolers, that's what they, oh, I love him. Oh, I love him not. I love him. I love him not. Those sort of, if you think of the, little girl going through picking, it's like, oh. Okay, eros love. And then there's this other Greek word for love, and it's called storge love, and this is kind of the family love. If the love you have for your family is called storge, and it's a real strong love because you kind of have to love them because they're your family, kind of a thing. But it's kind of more than that too. It's like a love for a dependent. So a love for your child would kind of be that. It's like you might have other love for them, but that's one of the main ones is a family love. So there's that one too. And then the other one that's maybe really familiar, you might be like, oh, I know that word, phileo love. We're going to talk Greek today. I should have warned you earlier that we're talking Greek. I warned the leadership of the church that we're doing Greek lessons this morning. But phileo. And phileo, you might be familiar with Philadelphia, phileo, city of brotherly love. There you go. So now you know some Greek. Phileo is brotherly love. And it's like fondness for someone. It's like friendship love. Like, you have a good friend and you love that person, but you don't love that person like you love your spouse. You love your friend like phileo, friend, okay? And that kind of love is interesting because that love continues to grow depending on how much you share in experiences and how much time you spend together, things like that. And like, if you have a really good friend and then you move away for a while, and then you come back and you visit them, and you feel like, oh, I feel like we're starting right where we left off. Well, that's awesome phileo love because you've built up this phileo love, and then it's kind of plateaued, and then you're building up again. That's what phileo love's all about. It grows, and it's all based on interests and experiences and things. Now, the last one here is another word we find in the Greek for love. It's agape love. Now, agape love is an interesting word because it's totally unique to all the other loves in the sense that it's totally dependent on the person giving the love, okay, the person showing agape love. It has nothing to do with the receiver of the love. In fact, in the King James version of the Bible, it actually translates this charity or goodwill, okay? And you think of the word charity, it's like charity is something that you just give, but you don't really want anything in return for that. Does that make sense? So you kind of think of it that way. That's why I kind of put agape as charity. But a lot of times, like in the NIV and other translations, it'll say love, just like love. Every time, love. We get one word, love. So, but when this agape love is the love that I choose to love you. I choose that, and it's the kind of love that Jesus commands us to do to love our enemies. Because when it doesn't depend on the person receiving the love, then we can agape love somebody. It doesn't depend on them. It depends on me. Okay? Now, agape love is the type of love that we all want to experience because agape love doesn't change based on what we do or what we don't do or what we say or what we don't say. Agape love, you just get it. That's what it is. So we all want that love. So when we look at 1 Corinthians 13, guess what type of love he's talking about? Agape love. It's all about agape love. And so it's just super important that we know that. So, and I'm going to use some of my music, the music that I share, just to kind of get us thinking about love. So the first one let's talk about is the Hadaway one. Now you guys all know the song, don't you? Maybe not. You guys remember the no? All right, whatever. Saturday Night Live. Thank you. Yes. All right. All right. So see, we'll have some fun this morning. So remember that agape love, if you're going to leave here this morning, you're at least going to know that agape love has nothing to do with the recipient of the love. Okay? It has everything to do with the one showing the love. It has nothing to do with feelings or emotions. Okay? In fact, Paul lays out in this passage, he lays out that really what agape is that it's a choice. Okay? We can either choose to agape love somebody or we can choose not to. And and he also, what I kind of think what he's saying is that, we always kind of want to wait till we feel like loving somebody to do it. But what he's saying is like, look, if you want to feel loving towards somebody, you got to be loving. And in order to be loving, it takes two things. First one is love is patient. And as I studied the Greek, it's really love has patience, but I guess that's just kind of a semantic, I guess. But so love has patience. And I'm like, when I read that, and I'm studying this, I'm going, ouch. Man, why did he choose that one to start? Like, patience is like the worst for me. I just got to be honest with you. Okay, it's a hard one, especially with me and my family. Just to be honest with you, I don't know if that's you, if you struggle with patience with your family, but I just got back from a junior high retreat. I had like 20 junior high kids in Santa Cruz over the weekend, and I was fine with that. I can give them all sorts of patience. It's like, your junior hires. But then if I have my 5-year-old bouncing on the couch next to me, I'm just like pulling my hair out, like, I don't know what it is. But to be honest, I'm just bearing my soul to you guys. Patience is a funny thing because, when I think I don't need it, I totally have enough patience. I think I have enough. Like right now, you're sitting here going, yeah, I got patience, yeah. But then it's when things start getting irritating and I start getting frustrated, and then when I really need patience, that's when I don't even want patience anymore. All right? I don't even want it. So it's like, right now I think I got it, but then when I actually need it, I don't even want it. So it's just a weird thing. It's like, man, Paul, number one, patience. As you look into that, patience is really, it's two words, and it means it's long-tempered. That's what the Greek is, long-tempered, and so it gets translated patience, long-tempered. So if you're patient, you're slow to anger. You're slow to anger. And so you kind of bear with each other. You kind of know that they're going to have imperfections and differences, and you kind of give them a chance to change, and you give them room to make mistakes without coming down super hard on them, like, get off the couch, kid, stop jumping, something like that. So love is patient, and I've been working on that, so you guys can work on that too, if you want. The second one is that love is kind. Love is kind. And I heard this story about a woman who was seeking counsel from a psychologist, and she confided in her psychologist that she hated her husband, and she wanted to divorce him. And so, but not only did she want to divorce him, she wanted to hurt this guy as much as she possibly could. And so the psychologist kind of thought a little bit. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give you some advice. Here's what you got to do. If you really want to hurt your husband and hurt him through this, I advise you to shower him with all the kindness and compliments that you can. And then, just when you've become totally indispensable, and just when he thinks that he has your full devotion and love, then we hit him with the divorce. It'll just kill him. It'll totally get him. So she's like, okay. So she agrees to it, and she goes for a couple months, and she tries this out. And she comes back after a few months, just say that, she followed the doctor's advice and all that. And so the doctor said, great, now's a great chance. Let's go ahead and let's get this divorce filed. And she says, what? No, I've totally fallen in love with this guy. Isn't it interesting that kindness, when we practice kindness, it not only helps the other people, the other person that we're helping, but it ends up helping us too, probably even more so. You can talk to anybody that has gone on a mission trip. You probably find that. You find that They go in and selflessly serve other people, but when they come back, they're totally changed. So it's just like that. Kindness has a way of doing that. A kind person seeks out opportunities to meet needs for other people without expecting anything in return. That's really what kindness is. Mark Twain, love this guy. Mark Twain, this is what he says about kindness. Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can read. He's totally right. Everyone can understand the language of kindness. It doesn't matter. You can speak totally different language, rich or poor, old, young, male, female. Kindness is a universal language. And I think that's one thing that Paul really got that. Like, look, patience, kindness. That's love. So what is love, patience, kindness? How do you know what you're looking for when you're dealing with love? Let's try another song. Is this love that I'm feeling? There's Whitesnake. Yeah, so anyway. So I think our culture has this whole love thing backwards. We think that in order to agape love somebody, we have to feel love. We have to have the eros love. We have to have the emotional side. And then we choose to love them. But love, our culture is so backwards in this. The truth is that actions create feelings. Whenever I start working out, I always say, actions create emotion. I don't feel like working out today, but if I go and just start doing it, then I'll feel like doing it. So it's the same thing with love. We can't wait around for us to feel loving towards somebody in order to act that way. So Paul's like, hey, let me paint a picture for you of what this agape love looks like. So that way, if you have to ask, is this really love? Is this it? Then you can run it through this filter, and you can know for sure if this is love or not. Okay? Even love that works for enemies too. Okay? People you don't like, people that drive you crazy, those people. So let's just cruise through them. I know there's a lot of them, but the fill-ins are easy because they're coming right out of your Bible. So you can work ahead. So the first one, rejoices in the truth. Love rejoices in the truth. I think, love sees others and accepts them for who they are, and I think really what he's talking about here is that love really looks for the image of God in the other person, okay? There's not one person on the planet that wasn't created in God's image. Not one person. Look around in our congregation. Everyone bears the image of God. That's an awesome thing. And this whole thing, rejoicing in the truth, is rejoicing the truth that, hey, God's in that person sitting next to you. That person's an image bearer. So, if you see God in others and you treat each other like they're brothers and sisters in God's family, then I think that's agape love. That's a good filter to run that through. The second one there is that love protects. Love protects. And there's other translations that, it's weird when you're translating Greek because there's a lot of different words in English that we can kind of like, maybe that's a little better. But other translations you might have will put words in like bears, suffers, or endures. Love endures, endures all things. And love is kind of like a roof. You live in a house, right? You have a roof over your head. I kind of think of love enduring all things as a roof. Because, we kind of take our roofs for granted, right? Our roofs protect us, but what do they actually endure in order to protect us? You ever thought about that? They've got, all during the summer, they have this scorching heat that they have to withstand and try to keep us cool, and during the wintertime we get rain and might get hail. I've seen flocks of turkeys on my roof, so I know that there's poop up there. Like all this stuff that my roof endures to protect me. And isn't that what love is supposed to be all about? It covers. It's like a protective covering. It's like it endures. It's able to withstand the weather and the storms of life and all the other stuff that life throws at us. That stuff. So, your roof doesn't one day, wake up and see a storm coming and go, that's it. I'm not protecting these goofballs anymore. I'm out of here. I'm going on vacation. No, your roof's always there. It sticks around even though there's a big storm coming. And the other thing about roofs that are kind of interesting is that it doesn't matter who's in your house. They're going to protect whoever's in there. right? So you could have someone over that you don't really like all that much, and they're still going to be protected by your roof, okay? Isn't that what agape love is all about? Even for our enemies, agape love is there to suffer all things, to go through it all. Now, it's not easy. I thought I just find it interesting that it's like Paul never says, oh, and by the way, this agape love, this part's the easy part, so this will be come really easy for you. He doesn't say that. You know, the bar is always up there, a little bit higher for us. But if your love acts like a roof and protects and endures through all the bad stuff, that might be agape love that you're feeling, okay? Here's the other thing. Love trusts. Now, does that mean that we have to trust everybody? I don't know. There's some people I don't really want to trust out there. I think there's a lot of people out there that aren't trustworthy. And we can read this and go, well, that means I have to trust everybody and be a doormat and just say yes to everything. But I think it's deeper than that. I think there's something deeper. I think what Paul's really saying is that agape love says, I believe in you. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I look for the good in other people. I want to draw the good out of you because I know it's there. Okay? Again, agape is a choice. You know, it doesn't depend on the other person. It's just a choice that we make. And it's easy to see the good in people that we like, but agape love even works on people that we, maybe don't get along with all that well. Because, again, like I said before, that person was also created in God's image, and there's good in there that God's created. So we're just saying, I believe that there's good in there, and I want to draw that out, okay? So if you're viewing others as God's kids, if you're trying to get that good out of them, that's agape love. That's agape love. The next one is love always hopes. It always hopes. You know, we see the good in people, and when we hope to see growth in people. We hope to see that good come out. You know, even when agape love doesn't see the change right away, love continues to hope. You know, it's not dependent on the person. So, for me, I want to see other people become more and more like Jesus. That's my hope. Now, whether they do or not, it's not really up to me. It's up to them, it's up to God. But it's not up to me, but I can still have the hope. I can still agape love other people and hope that they become more and more like Jesus. Does that make sense? So we hope. So if you want to see growth in others around you and you want good for them, agape love. Okay? Love perseveres. Agape love perseveres. It endures. Agape love's in it for the long haul. Think of a long-distance runner. I don't plan on doing this. I've never done it. But if I ever were to take on a marathon, I would imagine I would get pretty tired, probably after like the first mile or maybe half mile. Maybe right at the starting line, I'd probably just want to take a nap. I don't know. But, I watched the Olympics this last time. I actually watched the marathon because it was on like Sunday after church and there wasn't anything else on. And I don't know why they choose to do the marathon of all things, like whatever. But I watched the marathon. And these guys and gals, they train for years to do this thing. And they run all sorts of things. And they still look tired running this thing. You're running like mile after mile after mile, and you get tired running, even though you've trained and trained and trained. So it takes endurance. It takes endurance. And love, agape love, we persevere. We keep on keeping on. Are there people that are super hard for us to love? Yeah, there are. There are people that are hard to love. And do we get tired of being patient and kind to everybody? Yes and yes for me. I don't know about you, but maybe you. Agape love endures even when we're tired of loving. Perseverance is keep on keeping on. That's what my little boy Justin's got these old tapes, and so he listens to these stories. And one of the stories is this bike race, and he says, "Keep on keeping on." That's what perseverance is. So that's what it is. It's always in my head. And we choose not to give up. It's a choice that we make. We choose to do it. We choose not to do it. Those long distance runners, they have a choice. Every time that they come up with, to the next turn or whatever, they can drop out. They don't have to finish the race. They have a choice, and we have a choice to keep on keeping on. So if you're in it for the long haul with people, agape love. That's agape love. Okay, so what about Tina Turner's question? All right. Whatever. I didn't listen to her when I was growing up. Oh, so what's love got to do with it? Paul answers it just in one quick line in the next verse and just says, love never fails. Love never fails. At my house, I have a file cabinet, and kind of in the back of this file cabinet is a folder, and it has all of our warranties in it. All of our warranties. And I've got everything in there. Dishwasher, refrigerator, microwave, our stove. I've got like stereo, TV, CD player, computer, the camera, the video camera, Justin's toys, the ceiling fans are in there. Even the weed whacker, I think, is all in there. And all those warranties, they all come with maybe a year, or maybe if I'm really lucky, I might get 2 years of a warranty. Some of them are just like 30 days or 90 days. Like, ooh, if it breaks in that time, like I shouldn't even buy this thing. So, but love comes with a forever warranty. It's totally a lifetime. It's never going to break down. It's never going to stop working. It's never going to stop loving. It never reaches the point where it doesn't work anymore. But how could this possibly be? How could love have this awesome warranty on it that never, ever fails? Well, I think we just got to skip over to 1 John 4. It just says, God is love. We should agape, it says, we should agape one another because God is agape. God is agape. All the stuff that we talked about this morning on agape love is the love that God has for you and for me. It's the only type of love that God has for you. Isn't that amazing? All that stuff. God can't fall in love with you. God can't fall out of love with you. His love for you doesn't grow based on how much he has in common with you or how much time you've spent with him. Agape love is God's love for you, and it doesn't depend on you. You just get it. How awesome is that? God's love perseveres. He's in it for the long haul with you. He's not going to get tired of loving you. He's just going to do it. God's love hopes. He longs for you and me to turn to him and follow him. He's always hoping for that. God's love trusts. He created you in his own image, and he sees the real you. He sees the good that he's created in you. God's love protects and endures like that roof, even to the point where he nailed your sins to his son's cross with him as he died. God's love is truth. The Bible says, know the truth. The truth will set you free. But agape love isn't something that we can do on our own. We need to rely on the one who empowers us to live it out. Last night I was tucking my son in to bed, and we kind of had this argument thing. He kind of had a meltdown last night. He's 5, so he has meltdowns. I should probably get over it that my son has meltdowns because he just is 5. But he had a meltdown at a restaurant, and it was kind of embarrassing. And so we kind of had this tension thing, and I had patience for a long, long time. And then I lost my patience, and I really tried. But I was tucking him in, and for him, it's as if nothing ever happened, so whatever. So I was rubbing his back, and I told him, Justin, I want you to know that I love you more than anything. And he actually turned over, and he looked at me, and he goes, except God, right, Daddy? Whoa. As I thought about it, I didn't sleep at all last night. I kept thinking about that. I don't know why, but it just kept going on in my head. But I thought about that question that my 5-year-old said, and it became clear to me that I need to totally be a model of God's love. Because here my son's like, he's going to learn someday. Actually, one of his memory verses at school is God is love. And so he's going to make this connection that, well, what's love? And what is this that I'm getting modeled? Is that really God? And I'm going to be the one that's modeling that for him. And in fact, I kind of took a step back, and I'm like, Other people are going to see God in the way that I love because God is love. If I don't agape well, they're going to see a skewed view of God. So, church, we have to get it together. We have to figure this out. You know, people sitting around us, people that are going to come in the doors of our church, are going to see God based on how well we agape. Oh, that's huge. God is love. God is agape. But we can't do it on our own. We need agape to show agape, don't we? So let's take a look. Just take a look at the list. Don't look at me. Look down at your list. Okay? Let's challenge ourselves a little bit. Let's tell ourselves the truth, because agape is truth. Agape yourself for a little bit, and just tell yourself the truth. Let's figure out what we're good at and what we're not good at on this list. Okay? Just humor yourself for a second. So let's do the good. If you look through the characteristics of agape love, what are some ones that you feel like you've got a handle on? You know, what are your strengths? Maybe you've got no problem looking at other people in this room and just seeing the image of God in them. Maybe you're like, I've got that one. That one's good. Maybe you could put a circle around the one that you're 1 or 2 or 7 or however many there are. Maybe you're good at all of them. I don't know. And then, what about the weaknesses? You know where mine is, because I messed up to you. But what characteristics are you weak in? What are some ones that you're going to be like? You're going to go home today and say, "Okay, God, I need some help with this one." You know, patience, kindness. I don't know. Are you being protecting? Well, as we close this service this morning, I want to challenge us to go out today, that we choose to love, because love is a choice. Agape isn't something that you're going to feel like doing. Agape is something that you have to choose to do. So I want to challenge us today, and I challenge myself, that when I leave today, I want to choose agape, and not just to agape those that are easy to agape, but I want to choose to agape people that are hard to love, the people that maybe I know I'm not going to get loved in return. You know, maybe the people that I'm not going to see change in the other person, but I'm going to choose to agape anyway. And let's tell others about the God of love by loving other people in God's name. Can we do that, church? All right. Do we have a closing song this morning? Yeah, let's sing.